It's been 3 years since the Parke County Triple Murders. It was October 30th, 2005, when Tricia Zajkowski and her 2 daughters were killed. The girl's stepfather, Chad Cottrell, is the accused murderer. In this first part of our series, we talk with the family on this 3rd anniversary.
It's almost like somebody drops you into a nightmare, and you know that there's no way you're ever going to leave.
Rick and Trish Zajkowski are still reeling from their loss. Not just the death of their daughter Tricia, but also their granddaughters, 12-year-old Brittany and 10-year-old Tori.
They say time heals all wounds, but anybody who's ever lost a kid knows that that healing just doesn't ever materialize. And
with there being 3 of them, it's like, which one do I grieve for today? Which one am I going to think about today? And then it becomes so overpowering that you think, okay, I can't think about that today. I will think about that tomorrow.
But each year on October 30th, they can't help but remember. Tricia was supposed to drop off Brittany at her grandparents'. When the pair didn't show up, they got worried.
She was always running late, but she always called. So if she was supposed to be there at 9, she would call at 9 and say it's going to be closer to 10. And then at 10 she would call and say it's going to be about another half hour. That's just how she was.
They became so worried they even went to Tricia's house. In fact, they went several times. When no one answered, they decided to force their way in.
We broke in a basement window thinking that would be the least damage. And that's when we found them.
That's when Tricia's mom says her brain shut down. Tori was found in her bed. She died of blunt force trauma to the head. Brittany and Tricia were found in separate rooms. Each died of gunshots to the head. Ryan Williams is the girl's biological father. He was with the grandparents when the 3 were discovered.
It's hard to even look at a picture without that being the end thought. You know, a lot of nights, you know, that's the last thing that you see.
You never get over what happened.
No, you don't. No, you walk with it every day.
Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty in this case. They're doing so because they say besides the murders, Cottrell also tried to molest the girls. This week, we've been looking back at the Parke County Triple Murder case. 3 lives were cut short on an October day 3 years ago. Tricia Zajkowski and her 2 daughters were killed. Tonight, we take a look at the lives lost.
Our whole lives have changed. Things that we took for granted, we don't take for granted anymore. Things that we cared about, we don't care about anymore.
The reality of how quickly life can end is something Rick and Trish Zajkowski and Ryan Williams deal with daily.
You spend all that time with them, nurturing them, and you see them, you know, just growing beyond your control. You know, they were good people.
They think about who these girls would have grown into.
The moment's lost. The part of it, you know, where, you know, we wanted both of them to grow up and get married and have babies. And
the family says their life now revolves around the moment they lost the girls. But by talking about them, it helps their memory live on. They tell us while Tricia could be flighty, she had a good heart.
Anything, no matter how small, it became a big dramatic event.
She was always looking for somebody with a problem so she could help.
12-year-old Brittany and her 10-year-old sister Tori were opposites.
Tori was a tomboy. The last time I saw Tori, she and Tricia were doing cartwheels in the front yard, having a contest. Brittany was a prissy little girl. She liked
a girly girl.
She was a girly girl, and she would be the first one to tell you that. She liked dresses and pantyhose and tights, and she took ballet or took jazz classes. She took tap classes at one time. She took ballet classes at one time. She was a singer. She was an entertainer.
But Brittany also had a more sacred goal.
Just right before we lost her, she decided that she was going to be a nun because she wanted to.
Very spiritual, very religious girl.
She wanted to save the Catholic schools.
For Rick and Trish, the loss hit especially deep with Brittany. They had custody of her.
Brittany and I had a connection from the time that she was a baby. It was magic. And I miss it so much. Yeah, your kids bury you. You don't bury your kids, and you especially don't bury your grandkids.
While we were handcuffing him, he said, "You don't know who you have. You don't know who you have. You don't know what I done. I'm a monster. I'm a monster. I murdered somebody."
We just heard from Amor Hinsel, a police chief in Minnesota. He was quoting Chad Cottrell during the initial arrest back in 2005. In Indiana, it can be a long time between crime and punishment. That's especially true with murder cases. It usually takes about 2 years to hand down a death penalty. It's been 3 years since the Parke County Triple Murders, and that trial hasn't even started.
No matter what happens at this trial, our kids are, that's not going to change. But there should be accountability.
It's a terrible experience. It's horrible, but my feeling on the matter is that if we don't all stand and let people know that this is wrong, and then we're not going to stand for it.
Chad Cottrell's trial has been delayed 4 times. Cottrell is accused of killing Trisha Zykovsky and her daughters, Brittany and Tori Williams.
We have heard some of the lamest excuses, down to I'm ready for them to say, I broke a fingernail. Oh, well, then we'll have to put this off for 6 months.
The Parke County prosecutor says there have been a lot of reasons for the delays. First, one of the defense attorneys was taken off the case. Then another defense attorney had a brain tumor removed. People close to the case say it's time to get started.
I feel that in the defense eyes that the longer they wait, the more people will forget. And I don't think that's right. You can never forget. I can never forget.
Prosecutors say they could argue their case in 2 weeks. The defense estimates 4 to 6 weeks, but that's just the first part of the case.
There's the phase that everyone's familiar with, that whether or not a person's found guilty or innocent or not guilty, and that you go through that first, and then if he is found guilty, then there's a whole second phase, which is, whether or not he's going to receive the death penalty.
Svengro says that could take just as long. With every delay, the cost of Parke County goes up, and taxpayers are footing the bill.
We have incurred over $340,000 worth of attorney fees, and we've not gone to trial yet. So I anticipate that even growing larger, much larger.
Parke County has handled the bills so far, but once the trial begins, even more bills will come in. The county levied a special income tax to help pay for the trial.
We're a small county, we're a rural county, we're an agricultural county, and there's not a whole lot of income that comes into Parke County, so we try to do the best we can at the minimal cost.
But Hazlett says the tax will go away.
None of us like to pay any more than we just simply have to, but this is one of those things that, it happened, we hate it, justice has to be served, and we hope that it does, and I hope that the taxpayers understand that as immediately as that is all taken care of and the bills have been paid, that the council will do away with that tax.
But the family will never be able to do away with the loss of their loved ones.
You never get over what happened.
No, you don't.
No,
you walk with it every day.